We are going to start laying down on our backs today, and do have your strap handy. So when you first get there, just take a moment, hug the knees in. It might not be very tight. If you're feeling a little stiff so far, you can roll side to side, forward and back. Just find a little gentle movement. Maybe take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And then open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha, let it go. Do that a couple more times. So let the day so far go. Let Monday so far, let it go. Almost done with this month, which is insane. I can't believe we're almost 4 months into 2021. So as you feel ready, go ahead and take your feet as wide as your mat. Allow your knees to knock in towards your chest. And then just take your arms in a place that feels good. So it might be out wide. Maybe it feels good to come into cactus arms, goalpost arms, so you get a little more stretch across the inseam of the arm in that variation. Maybe it feels better to have a hand on heart, hand on belly, both hands on belly. Just play around. See where you feel really comfortable and relax, and you start to feel heavy. So we want to feel those shoulder blades really melt down into the mat. And then from here, you start to find that rhythm of your ujjayi breath, inhaling through your nose. And then exhaling through your nose. Maybe trying to stretch the breath out a little bit here. And you are making a little bit of sound with this breath. So you're constricting the sides of your throat. It sounds like ocean waves rolling in and out. It's a little bit of that Darth Vader sound. Use this breath to help draw you inward, to help quiet the mind. It might take all practice to get there. That's okay. We do our best. Do a little scan of your body here. Have you started to grip anywhere that you don't need to? Soften in those places. So for most of us, it's going to be the inner thigh, the groin that tenses up a little bit. Shoulders might be creeping up around the ears. You might be gripping into the fingers, the toes. Maybe there's some tension in your face and jaw. Let all of those places release so you feel really easy. Just laying down here, connecting with your breath. From here, start to heel toe your feet so they're about hips distance apart. So you're just walking them in a little bit. Then you're going to grab your strap. So first things first, just bend your right knee into your chest again, and then start to circle around in that hip socket. They can be big circles, little circles, kind of just intuit what it is that you need in your body. And you can start to switch directions here. Then we're going to take our strap, whatever we have, we're going to put it over the sole of the foot. So just a little bit below the bridge, so there's the knuckles of the toes, slightly above the arch. One strap in each hand. If you don't have a strap here, you're just going to interlace your fingers around your thigh, and you're going to be getting the same action. If you do have a strap, you come down as far as you need to so that both shoulder blades can be pressing down into the mat. All right, and then you might even take your right thumb, press it into that right hip crease, so it just feels like you're getting space on that lower right side. Taking a few breaths here. This can be super, super intense, so give yourself a little more room with the strap. If you're feeling this in the hamstring, you might be feeling it in the lower back as well. Keep that foot, that extended right foot flexed and active. The strap, of course, helps you to find that naturally. Good. And then from here, we're going to start to press forward through our left heel. So bringing that leg to straight on the mat, root down into that heel, point those toes up towards the ceiling. So both legs are in Tadasana mountain pose. They're doing the same thing, even though they're facing different directions. So you feel that inner left thigh spiral down towards the mat. Inner right thigh is spiraling forward. We're going to take both straps in to our right hand. If you're just holding behind your thighs, you can just hold on with that right hand. Nice deep inhale here. Keep anchoring down into that left thigh, especially that left hip plate. As you exhale, just go off to the side. You don't have to go very far. We're just finding this little diagonal stretch. You know you're in too deep if your left hip plate has popped up off of mat. So you want to have that nice space behind you. Again, shoulder blades are pressing heavy down into the mat. The breath is smooth and steady. Less is more. If this feels really intense, just back out of the pose a little bit. It's not cheating. It's called being wise. Good. As you inhale, come back to center. Bend that knee into your chest and then bend the left knee into your chest. You can remove the strap from that right foot. Place that foot down on the mat. So start with the knee bent. And then give that left knee a squeeze. Start to circle around in that hip socket. Big, small, whatever feels good. I know for me, sometimes if I go too big, I get a weird click in my hip. So I always find I feel a little better going a little smaller with the circles. Everybody's body's a little different. All right, and then again, either interlacing your fingers behind that left thigh, bringing that leg to straight, or taking that strap a little bit below the bridge of the foot, slightly above the arch, one strap in each hand. So shoulder blades are pressing down into the mat, nice and heavy. Trying to draw that right hip crease forward. You can take your left thumb there to help you find that, just for a breath or two. Definitely an intense stretch in the hamstring. You're going to be feeling this in the glute. Send your breath to those places. Take a little bend in the knee if you need to as well. All right, we're going to start to press forward through this right heel so that leg is super active, toes point up towards the ceiling. This right hip plate underneath you is rooting down into the mat, so you have that nice space. Take both straps into your left hand or just hold behind your thigh. And then as you exhale, start to extend that left leg off to diagonal. Notice how it feels. You don't need to overdo it. Just go far enough so that you're feeling a stretch. And we're all built a little different, so some of us don't have to go very far at all. If you tend to be a little more flexible, your challenge is going to be to keep rooting down into this right hip plate. So something for everyone here to work on. You might even feel your outer hips squeeze in towards each other and towards the midline. Couple more good breaths here. Listen to that sound of your Ujjayi breath. Always coming back to it. It is what threads all of the poses of our practice together. Good. Inhale up to center. Good. Bend that right knee. Left knee. Give both a squeeze into your chest. Just rock a little bit from side to side. And then let's just find a supine tree pose here. So go ahead and extend both legs to straight. And then we're going to open up this right hip. So bringing the sole of the foot, it can either be the lower leg, upper leg. It's okay if your foot is on the knee here in this laying down position because we're not putting any pressure there. Flex that left foot so the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Feel this gentle hip opening here on the right side. And then inhale. Stretch your arms up overhead and you can just gently lift the thumbs up off the mat so your palms are facing towards each other. In this variation, you're going to really feel those shoulder blades press into the mat underneath you. You're going to get a little lift across your heart and thoracic. Breath is smooth and steady. Gaze is just up straight up at the ceiling. Good. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, release your arms by your side. Take your right hand to the outside of that right knee to help draw that leg in. Extend left leg to straight. And then we take the second side. So opening up that left hip. Good. Foot can be low. It can be to the inside of your right thigh. It might be at that knee area. That's okay in this variation. Root down into your right heel. Feel those toes point up towards the ceiling. Direct your tailbone forward towards that right heel. Inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. It's a little supine Trikonasana. And then maybe this time even start to gaze back a little bit. So you kind of roll back on your head. And those shoulder blades are still pressing nice and heavy. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, release your arms by your side. Left hand to the outside of that knee to help draw it in. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then options here, if it feels okay to roll forward and back on your spine, you do that. Eventually coming all the way to your tabletop. If that's not feeling good on the spine today, just roll to one side or the other and make your way to your tabletop. So we land with our shoulders over our wrists, hips over our knees, little zipping in action of your lower belly. So you're feeling that core containment. And then let's move into our cat-cow here. So as you inhale, root down into your shins, chest extends forward through the gates of your shoulders. Beautiful. As you exhale, press in the opposite direction, round in the thoracic. So coming into that scaredy cat position. As you inhale, you arch. As you exhale, press the mat away, round in. Close your eyes if they're not already. And then just continue to move at a pace that feels really organic and good in your body today. You're not too fast, you're not too slow. You're just right. You're finding that little Goldilocks spot. And you're paying attention to how your spine is feeling. Where does it feel a little rigid, a little tighter, a little tender? Where is there this sense of ease? Can you try to transfer a little of that feeling to the spots that aren't quite there yet? Couple more rounds. Beautiful work. These look really nice. Good. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Keep your belly lifted as you exhale. Lower elbows an inch, two, no more than half. Gaze forward. Hovering here, breathing. Shoulder heads lifting. Definitely working the arms and the core a little bit. Nice work as you exhale. Lower down onto your belly. I'm going to scoot back here a little bit on my mat. So the tops of the feet are pressing, rooting down into all 10 toenails. You can grab your strap again here, especially if you're a little tighter in the shoulders. You're also welcome to just reach your arms by your side or interlace your fingers. I'm going to use my strap today. It's kind of nice to have something to pull out against. Helps you to get a little more lift in your shoulder heads. So landing on your forehead, pressing into your feet. You're going to keep anchoring there a lot. As you inhale, chest extends forward and up. So feel a little lightness and lift. And if you've got that strap, pull apart. If your fingers are interlaced, drag your knuckles towards your heels. If you're a little hyperflexy in your elbows, if you're kind of a little double jointed there, little micro bend. And that will actually give you a more intense stretch. With each inhale, you're feeling a little more lift and lightness in your heart and chest. This is intense, so back out a little bit if you need to. You're building a lot of strength in the lower back. As we exhale, we lower down. Just take a moment here. Find your breath again. And we're going to come back into that. So if you had your fingers interlaced, just change the interlacing of your fingers. The opposite thumb and index finger come on top. Anchor down into your feet. The legs are really engaged. Feel those inner thighs spiral up as the outer hips squeeze in towards each other. Keep all of that anchoring as you inhale. Head and chest extend forward and up. Stretch out on your strap. Drag your knuckles towards your heels. Point your fingers towards your heels, just depending upon what variation of the Shalabhasana you're doing. Good. If you would like to add your feet for a couple of breaths, lift them up. If you go there and it feels too intense in your lumbar, you place them back down. Legs are really active here. Good. Deep inhale. As you exhale, release everything down. You can move your strap off. To the side, bring your fingertips underneath your shoulder heads, elbows squeeze in. Inhale, chest extends forward and up. Same work, so you're not lifting super high here as you exhale, lower. Keeping a deep bend in the elbows. Inhale, lengthen. Bhujangasana, low cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up. Good, exhale, lower down. Inhaling up, holding here, and you stay here. If you're ready for an upward dog, drag your hands back a lot. Check to see that your wrists are underneath your elbows. You press into your feet, press into your hands so arms come to straight. So upward dog. If you're an upward dog, your knees, your shins, your thighs should be lifting up off the mat. If that's not happening, come back down to your low cobra. Press shoulder heads back here. Good. One more deep inhale. If you're in Bhujangasana, press to your tabletop as you exhale and then make your way back to your downward dog. If you're in your upward facing dog, roll over your toes. And we all find our first downward facing dog of the day. I shouldn't say the first. I don't know what you guys have been doing. Maybe you've knocked out a few of these already. I haven't. So take a moment, fidget around, pedal back and forth between your feet, anything that feels good here. It might feel nice for you to just be in a place of stillness. That's always fine too. Check in with your breath again. Make sure that you still have that nice inhale through your nose and that nice exhale through your nose. Good. Let's inhale, shift forward into our plank pose. So shoulders land over your wrists. Your option here, you stay in your plank like this, elbows bend to halfway hover all the way down. Maybe you're on your knees. Good. And then you can stay here or lower down. Inhale into your low cobra or your upward facing dog. And then as you exhale, you pull back, downward facing dog. So that's our little chaturanga vinyasa, which we can vary up quite a bit. From here, start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. As you inhale, hands on shins or thighs, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, a little standing cobra. Exhale, fold in, couple more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhaling, folding. Good, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet this time. Stretch your arms out and up overhead. Beautiful work as you exhale. Hands come together at your heart. So feet about hips distance apart. Arches are lifting, so you're pressing to the four corners of your feet. As you inhale, arms reach up. Bring your right fingertips to your left wrist. Good. As you exhale, start to side bend to the right. Take a couple of breaths here. Feel these right ribs wrap up. Pinky side of that left hand spins down. Your shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other. Nice work. Inhale up to center. Good. Release that wrist. And then left fingertips to right wrist. Side bend to the left. Feel all of this nice stretch. Press evenly into your feet. Maybe look up underneath that top arm. Breath smooth and steady, especially in these positions where it feels a little constricted. Especially try to fill up on the inhale. Come back up to center on the inhale. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in, maybe with a bend in your knees. Let the back of your neck lengthen. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, you fold back in. Press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. A couple more of these Ardha Surya Namaskara, half sun salutes. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold. Good, inhale, press down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. One more here. Inhaling, reaching Utthita Hastasana into Dasana. Exhale, fold in Uttanasana, nice and easy. Neck lengthens. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. As you exhale, you come back into your Uttanasana. Inhale, press down to rise up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, and I think that we're at the back of our mat here, so go ahead and walk to the front. We're going to add on a little more. So as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, you hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep your right foot forward, step that left foot way back. Land on that knee. Good. As you inhale, rise up, crescent pose. You're going to hook your thumbs and then pull your arms apart. Good. So you're going to feel that a little more in the bicep, the inner upper arm. Direct your tailbone down. Maybe bring your gaze up. Good. As you exhale, release your hands down to your mat. Curl your left toes under, plant your palms, step back to your plank pose. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, shift forward on toes. You can modify, come to knees, lower halfway, hover, or all the way down. Inhale into low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through, land on your right knee. Inhale, rise up, hook your thumbs, go for the way that feels a little funny, and then really pull apart so you feel those arms engaged. You start to widen across the backs of your shoulders. It's intense. Maybe bring your gaze up. Deep inhale. As you exhale, hands frame your left foot, curl your right toes under, and then step that right foot to meet the left foot. Inhale, chest extends forward. As you exhale, fold in. Pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, reaching Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, left foot stays forward, step it way back. Good. We're going to find a little twist here. So root down into your right palm. You might need your hand on a block. Press to the inner edge of the left foot. Start to twist to the left. So shoulder blades stack on top of each other. You could always have this left hand on your hip as well. Gaze down, forward or up. Good. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind palms, plant, curl right toes under. Keep your hips as slow as you step to your plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower halfway, hover all the way down. You can always modify with your knees. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. You can also skip these chaturanga vinyasas. As you exhale, downward facing dog. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're a little newer to yoga, skip them. As you inhale, you're going to lift your right leg up. Exhale, step that foot through, land on your left knee. So keep pressing to the inner edge of the right foot. Plant that left palm down, shoulder is over wrist. Start to spin open to the right. Stacking shoulders on top of each other. Beautiful work, Neil and Annette. Really try to twist that lowermost left rib up towards the ceiling. And just finding a place to gaze at that feels comfortable in the neck. Are you breathing? Good. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. So plant palms, curl those left toes under, and you're going to step that left foot to meet your right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest extends. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, inhaling, arms reach. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So we're going to bend our knees, plant our palms, right foot way back, then left foot. All right, so from here, you're going to lower down to your knees, okay? We're going to reach our right toes back, curl them under, and then you're going to roll to the inner edge of that right foot. You might have to adjust your left hand. So we're coming into a little modified Vashisthasana, really seal down into that left shin. Fire up that right leg. So seal into the back edge of that foot. Feel the muscle firm to bone. Spin that right palm to face forward and then reach that arm up and over. As you're doing that, keep wrapping the left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe challenge your balance here. Bring your gaze up. Good. As we exhale, we unwind. Nice work. And then we do that to the second side. So stretching those left toes back, curl the toes under. So this leg is really active. It's in plank pose. Hold on to that as you roll to the inner edge of that foot. Make sure right shoulder is over right wrist. And then you start to open up. So kind of triangle pose in our upper body here. Lengthening through the underside and wrapping those right ribs up towards the ceiling. Shoulders stacking on top of each other. Spin your left palm to face forward. Good. Reach that arm up and over. So feeling that long line through that left side. Good. As you exhale, you unwind here. So reach right toes back. Then left toes. Here we are in plank pose. Shift forward, lower chaturanga, hover or come all the way down. Inhale into your low cobra or your upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep inhale here through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. All right, so from here, we're gonna lift our right leg up. As you exhale, step that foot through. Keep your left toes curled under. Inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. So nice deep bend in that right knee. You're directing your tailbone down. We're gonna take this right foot, we're gonna heel toe it to the left twice, and then open up into our Virabhadrasana 2. So vigorously pressing this right knee back, sealing to the back edge of the left foot. As we inhale, we press that front leg to straight, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Good, inhale up. Exhale, sink in, Virabhadrasana 2. Good, inhale up. And then as we exhale, we come in for the hold here. So your torso is squaring to the long edge of your mat, but you're bringing your gaze out over the right fingers. Imagine that you're just making a little bench here for somebody to come sit on. Feel the outer hip squeeze in the outer, the feet squeeze in towards the midline. Notice if the shoulders are starting to creep up around your ears, soften them down. Smile a little bit. It's only a really long hold in a Virabhadrasana 2. You can take a little break if you need to. Good to spin your right palm to face up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, find your reverse warrior. So pinky side of that right right side hand. I don't know what I'm saying. Spinning down towards the floor. Just got all like tongue-tied there. As you're doing that, you're wrapping those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Good, start to inhale, press that front leg to straight. So reverse triangle. Good, keep the legs straight. And we're gonna come into our triangle pose. So as you exhale, start to shift the hips back to the left a lot. Pull this right hip crease back, find that length. So that Vashisthasana again through this right side. Hand can come on thigh or shin. If you have a block close by, grab the block, place the hand there. Press to the inner edge of that right foot, seal into the back edge of the left foot, shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Try to find more length through this right side of your body. Big, big hip opener happening in this front leg. So you're feeling that inner right thigh wrap towards the outer right, outer right thigh. Gaze can be down, forward. Maybe you start to look up. All right, so don't overthink this. As you inhale, you're gonna bend that front knee. Find your Virabhadrasana 2. Good work. And then as we exhale, we're gonna windmill arms up and over. So choices here. We're starting to get warm. Maybe you just step back to downward dog. Maybe you step to plank, then downward dog. Maybe you want more heat, so you mindfully move with your breath through your Chaturanga Vinyasa. All are good options here. All right. As you inhale, you lift your left leg. As you exhale, you step that foot through between your hands. Rise up into crescent pose, so right toes are curled under. That back leg is really strong and straight. Tailbone directs down as your sternum reaches up. Feel the stretch on this hip flexor. Good, and then we're gonna transition this into our Virabhadrasana 2. So heel toe your left foot to the right twice, and then open up this back leg. So you have a nice, generous stance. As you press to the inner edge of this left foot, it feels like you're firming that left knee back behind you. Arms are reaching. Make sure that you're not leaning forward here in your torso. So your sides of your waist are facing towards the long edge of your mat. Bring your gaze out over your left fingertips. And then just moving with the breath here a little bit. Inhale, press that front leg to straight. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, sink in. Good, inhaling up. And exhaling in. One more, inhale, press up. As you exhale, sink in. Several breaths here. So feel the shoulder blades release down your back. Gazing soft and gentle out over your left fingertips. Breath smooth and steady. Little smile, perhaps. Definitely going to be feeling things. You might even start to shake a little bit. That's a good sign. That's your body getting strong. Spin your left palm to face up towards the ceiling. We reverse our warrior here. As you inhale, reach that right hand lightly down that right leg. Pinky side of the left hand spins down to the mat. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. You're wrapping your right ribs up towards the ceiling. Keep bending into that left knee. You're going to feel that inner hip turning on. You're going to feel a big stretch here. All right, next inhale, press that left leg to straight. We're in our reverse triangle pose. So see if you can hold on to this length as you start to shift hips off to the right. And reach out over that left leg, hand on thigh, shin, block or books. Extra good, gives you lots of space. Shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other. You're pressing to the inner edge of that left foot, feeling that inner thigh wrap towards the outer thigh. Breath smooth and steady. Gaze somewhere that feels good in your neck. It could be down, you could be looking forward, you might even be looking up at your right thumb. Find something that you like about this pose. There's always places that are really intense. Where do you feel a sense of spaciousness? Where do you feel a sense of ease? Soak that up. Okay, and we don't overthink this. As we inhale, we find our Virabhadrasana 2, nice and easy. Snap your fingers twice. And then as you exhale, windmill arms up and over. Options, downward facing dog, Chaturanga Vinyasa, plank to downward dog. Little child's pose if you need. We all meet back in our downward dog here. Couple of breaths. Press a little more to the inner edge of the hands. Feel those upper arms turn on and then stretch your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Good. As you inhale, a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, step right then left, or you can hop both feet through. Inhale, chest extends. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, so root into your left foot. Feel the outer hip squeeze in, come up onto your right toes, and then open that hip up. So tree pose, you could be here like this. Maybe you lift that right foot to the lower left leg. Maybe you can reach down, snuggle that foot up against the knee. So whereas when we're laying down on the floor, it's okay to have the foot on the knee. We don't want that here because there's a lot of weight on the standing leg. So either above or below. One is not better than the other. And again, we're just finding this nice hip opener here. This is like our triangle pose, our Virabhadrasana 2. Your breath is smooth and steady. You're gazing at something in front of you that isn't moving. Good. Let's stretch our arms up. Maybe bring your gaze up. Good. As you exhale, hands come down to heart center. Release that foot. Good. Rooting into that right foot. Feel that outer hip squeeze in, lower belly pulls in and up. Up onto those left toes. Find the hip opening. Staying here is the pose. You're getting all of the work. So you could just be here like this, especially if you're newer to this. Otherwise, foot to lower leg. Leg and foot are pressing isometrically against each other. Maybe you can get that foot a little higher. Same thing. They're really firming into the midline. Kind of both coming the same direction. Are you breathing? And you might be wobbling a lot. So that standing foot is getting really strong in this pose. It's working hard. Some days it's harder than others. If you fall out of this pose, it's no big deal. You can stretch your arms up here. Tailbone releasing down, a sternum stretching up. Maybe bring your gaze up. Good. And then as we exhale, we release our hands down. Release that foot. Give the legs a little walk out. All right. So at the top of your mat, as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot back, then the left foot. From here, pull back, downward facing dog, or take a chaturanga vinyasa if you want a little more heat. These are always optional. Some days we need more, some days we need less. And then as you pull back to your downward facing dog, go ahead and step your feet together so it's like you have one giant tree trunk leg. Keep the legs really active. We're going to inhale, shift forward into our plank pose. And we're going to come into our side planks. We're going to roll to the outer edge of the right foot. You might take the left hand or the left foot in front as a little kickstand. You might even lower to knees and then take that variation that we've already done. So lots of options here. Nice. Shoulder blades stack on top of each other. And then I want you to really press your hips up towards the ceiling so you're finding more of a curve shape. We don't always do that in this, but we're finding a little C shape here. Extend that top arm up and over. Good. And then unwind, don't slam that hand down, pull back, downward facing dog. Beautiful work, everybody. All right, so feet step together. It's like you have one giant leg. Inhale, shift forward. Root into your left palm. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot so feet can stack on top of each other. You might take that right foot in front. Good, and then as you seal down into that hand, start to lift both hips up. Beautiful work. Keep breathing, smiling. If you fall out, no big deal. And if you're shaking, you're doing it right. This is really challenging. Spin that top palm up and over so get that long line of energy. Good. And then unwind here. So don't slam down. If you want a chaturanga vinyasa, you're welcome to take one. Otherwise, you pull back, downward facing dog. Deep inhale from your nose here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. As you inhale, find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, step left and right or hop through. Good, inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Good, inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, So we're coming back into our tree pose with the option to take that into our Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana option 3. So basically that pose that we did laying down with the strap, standing, so little balance pose. So you might want to take that strap above your right foot, or right shoulder rather. And then you may or may not go here. You just might find your tree pose again. So root into that left foot, come up onto the toes, open up. So find your tree. All right. So everything is squeezing into the midline. So you might, if you want to play with the other variation, just reach down, loop the strap around that foot. A couple of us might be able to hook the big toe with the middle and index finger. All right, so keep squeezing this left hip in, and then you reach that leg off to an angle. So you're not trying to square the hips here, kind of just off to the side. Reach that left arm up. Feel shoulder blades press back. And again, you could just stay in your tree pose here. Good. Let's come back to center. Keep that leg extended. If you're in tree pose, extend that leg forward, right leg forward, reach arms up. Ooh, big grip on the top of that front thigh. Good. And then release down, give the legs a little walk out. And then let's play with that on the second side here. So again, you can stay in your tree pose. If you want to go a little further, you're welcome to do that. So right hip squeezes in on those left toes, find the hip opening, foot to lower shin, can reach a little higher. All right, so this might be where you're at. So we're kind of just doing the same thing with our leg, we're just extending it out. So if you want to play with that, take that strap around the foot. And again, we're not trying to square the hips out. We're just finding that hip opening. Maybe start to reach your right arm up. Feel the shoulder heads press back. If you fall out, it's no big deal. Nice work. Good. So start to bring leg to center. If you're in tree pose, extend that leg forward, reach arms up. Ooh, feel that grip on the top of the thigh. You'll feel that tomorrow. You'll remember me. Go ahead and release legs down. Arms come by your side. All right, just close your eyes. Take a couple of breaths here. All right, so one final little push here. Kind of an opportunity to put all of this together if you want. So, coming to the top of your mat. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep looking forward, bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot back, then left foot. Pull back to your downward facing dog from here. All right, taking a couple of breaths. Firming into all 10 knuckles in your hands. Step your feet together so you have one giant leg. So we're gonna come back into our Vashisthasana side plank. You can do any variation that we've just done, and I'm gonna give you the option to do tree pose or that extended leg pose in this as well. So you know where you need to go. As you inhale, shift forward. So you can modify here any way that we already have. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Okay, so maybe you come into your tree pose here. And then maybe you grab those left toes, extend that leg out. So lots of different variations. If you're in the tree and you want to take that arm up overhead, good. And again, you just might be in a real basic pose here too. One more deep inhale. Nice work, everybody. As you exhale, unwind, pull back, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep inhale there through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. All right, final side here. So one giant leg. As you inhale, shift forward, coming to your plank. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot. You could stay here. You could be modifying. If you want to find your tree pose, you can always use your hand to help get that foot a little higher. If you're feeling very adventurous, grab your big toes, take that leg out to diagonal. Are you breathing? Are you laughing? It's only yoga. You could also just turn your camera off and skip all of this. All right, if you want one final chaturanga, make your way out of that side plank. Take that. Otherwise, pull back to your downward facing dog and find yourself a super well-deserved child's pose. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Debbie, who is here today, is probably thinking to herself, oh my God, we got Janet, not Jana. So my yoga students have this joke that when classes are extra hard, it means that my alter ego, Janet, is in the house. Find a little twist here. Start to walk your hands off to the right. It's a good thing she doesn't come out very often. Wrapping left ribs towards that right thigh. You can just lean your left ear on that inner left arm. Good, start to walk back to center. And then off to the left, find that little twist. Will feel really good. Slowing the breath down at this stage of the game. So we worked really hard, a lot of flow, a lot of challenging little poses. Start to shift gears here. Good, and then we're gonna walk back to center. Couple breaths. And then nice and easy, start to roll on up. And we're gonna come to seat. So we're gonna find our Jana Shirshasana. If you know that it's hard for you to sit tall, I really recommend sitting up on a blanket. I'm gonna do that. It just gives you a little more space, a little more room to sit tall. So it makes the pose a little easier. So we start in our Dandasana, legs extended to straight. This is the seated version of our Tadasana. Toes are nice and active. They're pointing up towards the ceiling. Inner thighs are releasing down. Going to bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of our left thigh. So we've been here. This is like a seated version of our tree pose. We're going to find our Jana Shirshasana. So if you know you're a little tighter, you're going to take your strap around that left foot. Good, and this is just going to be nice. It's going to allow you to walk your hands down, but keep length in your spine. If you know you're a little more open, press down into your sit bones. Inhale, stretch up. And then exhale, there's a little twist in this pose. So wrap those right ribs towards that extended left leg. And then as you exhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. So hands could come to thigh, shin. They can be on the sides of the leg. Maybe you grab that left wrist with your right hand if you're a little more open. If you have really long monkey arms like me, wherever you're at, you're getting that twist though. So you're finding a little leverage. Also, using the strap can be really nice. You might be super upright in this pose as long as you're feeling a hamstring stretch, little groin stretch, you're doing things right. So these poses all look really different for all of us. Key into that sound of your breath. Maybe you're closing your eyes here. So when the eyes are open, we start to let the outside world in, the thoughts kick up. So closing the eyes can be a nice little trick to help quiet things down, to help slow the breath down. And a few more breaths here. Are you gripping anywhere that you don't need to? Soften in those places. It's like good. Good, as you inhale, start to roll on up. So we're gonna take our right hand to the outside of that right knee. We're going to find a little twist here. So just have knee over right ankle so that foot isn't in tight against that left leg. You're giving yourself a little space so you can press into both sit bones. Couple of options here. You either hug that right leg with your left arm. You're reaching your right fingertips behind you. If you want to get in a little deeper and that's accessible in your body, stretch left arm up and then hook that elbow to the outside of that knee. So they press against each other. You're getting a little leverage here to press your shoulder heads back. Check in with that extended left leg. Has it gotten a little lazy? Point those toes up towards the ceiling. And then maybe you start to bring your gaze out over that right shoulder. Can you find a lot of expansion on the inhale? Fill up. And then of course, as you exhale, everything contracts in. You might twist in a little deeper there on that exhale. Good, one more deep inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Extend your right leg to straight. So finding that Dandasana, seated staff pose. Just notice how much effort it takes to sit like this. So it definitely helps to strengthen the core. We're gonna bend this left knee. Sole of the foot comes to the inside of that right thigh. And again, lots of options. If you're tighter, that strap goes around the foot. You get a little leverage so you can find that twist. If you're a little more open in this right hamstring, you can stretch your arms up and then fold in. So the key here is that we're not rounding in. We're keeping our spine nice and long, which means you might not go as far. So be okay with that. You're gonna actually get a better stretch. And pretty much with all of these poses, you just need to go to that place where you're feeling it in your body. So every shape's gonna look a little different for all of us. Janu Shirshasana, head to toe pose. A few more good breaths here. If your attention has wandered at all, just come back to your body. The sensations there, come back to that sound of your breath. Good, as we inhale, we make our way out of this. Left hand comes to the outside of that left knee. So again, give yourself a little space here. Left knee is over that left ankle. Right leg is really active and strong. You're rooting into both sit bones. You can hug here with that right arm. Left fingertips reach behind you. If you're sitting up on something, sometimes you need to put your fingertips on a block. If you want to get in a little deeper, stretch right arm up and then exhale from this lowermost right rib. Twist to the left, hooking elbow to the outside of that left thigh. So finding that leverage, shoulder heads press back. We're sitting nice and tall here. Just as in that forward fold that we did, we don't want to be rounding in. We want to sit tall. And that might mean that you need to back out of the pose a little bit if that isn't happening for you. Start to play with your gaze, maybe bringing your gaze out over that left shoulder if it feels okay in your neck to do so. How does this side feel different in your body? Does it feel different? Are these quiet seated poses more challenging for you? Is it a little harder to focus? Do you start to daydream a little bit? So we just observe these things about ourselves. And then we can make these little changes and start to be a little more present. Hopefully we start to take that off of our mats and into our lives. Okay, let's take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, Come on back to center. Good, extend that left leg to straight. Then we're gonna give ourselves a nice little hug here. So bend the knees in, give your back of the neck round. And then from here, we start to make our way to our final resting pose, Shavasana, a well-deserved one today. As always, if you tend to be a little more tender in your lower back, blanket rolled up underneath the knees, blocks under the knees is really nice. Or you can simply bend the knees, take feet as wide as your mat, and then allow the knees to knock in towards each other. Feel this openness and stretch across your heart and chest. You can even kind of snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. And then let's take one final deep inhale here together. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Few moments here just soaking up the quiet. Let yourself go there. Take a deeper inhale here. Sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Just bring some gentle movement back to your body. Maybe reach your arms up overhead, stretch out. And then staying soft and quiet, just roll to one side or the other, finding the fetal position. Using your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Just observing how you feel differently, observing what's shifted for you this past hour. And sending yourself, sending your body lots of love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort. It's not always an easy thing to do, but it does make us feel better. And finally, just promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this good feeling you've worked so hard to create with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. And bring your palms together, your heart center. Just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today, everybody. So good to see you. Thank you.